The special meeting of the Annapolis City Council on Monday, April 28th, 2025 will be called to order at 7 p.m. At this time, please join us for the invocation given by Alderwoman Finlayson, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I ask you to bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you thanking and praising you for the great gifts of our city. I ask for continued blessings for the residents and for this legislative body. Dear Lord, I pray for your guidance in making laws that are just for all people, regardless of race, gender, socioeconomic status, party affiliation, or where they live. Teach us the spirit and value of cooperation and compromise so that we might create laws and programs that will make a positive difference in all the lives of our citizens. Please give us the courage to move from fear to fight, to do what is fair, right, and good. Lord, grant us the wisdoms of justice, courage, and fortitude that will result in a strong and healthy and resilient community. These and other blessings I ask in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I blame the return to office mandate.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley,
Here.
Alderman Huntley,
Here.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Present.
Alderwoman Kendall Charles,
Here.
Alderwoman Finlayson,
Present.
Alderman Shadow Meyer, Alderman Gay, Alderman Savage,
Present.
Alderman Arnett.
Present.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Please present the first item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
So this time, it's a motion to approve the agenda as amended to add R2525, temporary waiving certain citations for waterfront uses in R4 district, and on first reader to remove R-2-25, demonstration program to build green roofs on city bus shelters.
So
Can I get a
moved.
motion. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is petitions, reports, and communications, beginning with update from the mayor.
So I'd like to begin tonight by remembering a longtime city employee, Sylvia Gilmer, who was laid to rest on Saturday. She retired in 2014, but had spent more than 2 decades in administrative roles with the Annapolis Police Department. During her 24 years with APD, Sylvia was known for her strong work ethic and outgoing personality. On behalf of the City Council, we send our condolences to her family and friends and colleagues. She will be greatly missed. If you could please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. We had a great weekend with the Spring Boat Show in town. It was a little soggy on Saturday, but the crowds didn't seem to mind that. We thank our boat show partners for staging around our preliminary work that we are doing at City Dock. Speaking of City Dock, work there is getting underway in earnest this spring and summer. The old Harbour Master building was demolished earlier this month, and recently we received final approval from the Maryland Historic Trust for the new Harbour Master office and its connection to Bertus House. We're proud to have met all requirements of the lead preservation agency within our state, and I want to thank everyone who worked towards that important goal. Now we move to the undertaking of all the necessary preliminary work, removing 10 ugly utility poles with 16 transformers, then widening the sidewalk so we can install utility vaults underground along with realigning the storm drains along City Dock and Dock Street. All this will make a huge difference in the downtown experience, even before we start construction on the new park, and is necessary before we get to Boat Show. You will see new construction fencing going up at the City Dock during the second week of May as we get started. The fencing will be moved throughout the project as the contractors work in different locations, doing archaeology work in one place, underground and utility work in another. This is essential site work required prior to groundbreaking and full construction after the fall boat show. To help our residents and visitors navigate the area during construction, we will install wayfinding signs for watermark cruises, latitude 38, the Harbour Master, dockside restrooms and showers, and the mobile hub for Visit Annapolis, where visitors can pick up maps, brochures, and personalized recommendations for downtown Annapolis attractions. We thank you all in advance for your patience while we work our way to a more resilient and sustainable Annapolis City Dock. The new City Dock Park will not only provide essential flood protection, but it will be a beautiful public space for all. So this weekend, April 30th, we close out National Poetry Month by celebrating the publication of the 4th annual edition of Around Each Corner, the city's youth poetry book. Come listen to inspiring words of 18 talented young poets from our community as they share their vision, hopes, and stories about the theme of Where I Am From. That's 6 p.m. on Wednesday right here at City Council Chambers. Please come along and support these young people. Refreshments will be served. This Thursday is May 1st, when Annapolitans put May baskets out on their doors and stoops or in the front of their businesses to celebrate May Day. For 70 years, the Garden Club of Annapolis Town will judge baskets in the historic downtown and parts of Inner Murray Hill. Winning baskets get a ribbon and an invitation to a tea party. If you're in those areas and want to be included in the judging, remember to tag your basket with your name and theme of your basket. But if you don't need to live downtown, or you don't need to live downtown, or to hang a May basket, you can put your display in the area of any area in the city. We'd love you to join in. This Saturday, and it is one of my favorite times. The city looks so beautiful around May Day basket time, and it's such a perfect city for May Day baskets. This Saturday, May 4th, is the Kick Gas EV event at the Annapolis Mall. We'll host an electric vehicle event. It proudly will feature Annapolis Transit EVs offerings, including all the new 100% electric 22-seater transit buses and the all-electric 10-minute trolleys that spend weekends circling around Maryland Avenue and State Circle in downtown, and also Eastport between the shopping center and numbered streets. Please stop by the mall between noon and 3 p.m. to check out and talk to individual EV owners and hear about their experience. On May 10, we look forward to taking part in the annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Parade, the rescheduled parade. The parade will start at 11 a.m. on Amos Garrett, then move down West Street to Church Circle, then turn left and proceed to Northwest Street and along to the festival site at People's Park on Calvert Street. The parade will be followed by the African Diaspora Festival, which will take place at People's Park from 12 o'clock till 8 p.m. There will be music, arts and crafts, lots of great food and more. So come along for some fun and color in celebration of legacy, endurance, and a rich cultural contribution of all those descended from African migration, both voluntarily and involuntary. We hope to see you all there. On the same day, there is the very serious 0.05K Eastport Bridge Run, which will also be taking place, described by Runner's World magazine as the least challenging athletic event ever conceived. The foot race over the bridge will take place at the crack of noon. This event is over very quickly. The bridge will be closed to traffic for about the same time or the duration of a regular draw span opening, if you've ever been there. Again, all these events are on Saturday, May 10th. Towards the end of the month, we are looking forward to Commissioning Week. I'll have more details for you on our next council meeting. But be aware these activities will take place from May 17th to the 22nd, with commissioning ceremony on the 23rd. It is a very, very busy time in Annapolis, so it's good to plan ahead. And lastly, Sunday,
Recording
May
in
11th.
progress.
It's Doge.
Sunday, May 11th is Mother's Day, a day to celebrate all the incredible mums out there who lift us up. That's mums, grandmothers, stepmoms, and the amazing people who fill the roles of mum in every form. To you, we say, Happy Mother's Day. I'm especially grateful to my wife, Julie, who is an incredible mother to our 2 children. Here at City Hall, we find ourselves lucky to work alongside so many talented mums who serve this city every day with heart and dedication. To the children of those mums, we thank you for sharing your mums with us. To all the mums across Annapolis, Happy Mother's Day. Now let's get on with the meeting. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is reports by committees.
Alderman O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Transportation Committee did not meet in April, but our May meeting was moved to the first Wednesday in May, which is the 7th, 4 p.m. here in Council Chambers. We're going to be getting a report from Director of Transportation.
Thank you. Alderman Huntley.
Well, I don't know if anybody knows, but there's a budget going on around town. So the Finance Committee has been fully focused on that. We've had a lot of presentations. I think we'll wrap up our departments this coming Wednesday. And then we'll move on to our negotiation. So probably plenty more to be heard or said about the budget, but I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much. Alderman Pendell Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Public Safety Standing Committee met on April the 7th. At that time, the Public Safety Committee report was given at that time, and we focused on Ward 6. As you will recall, this year we're focusing on wards per month. In January was Ward 1, February 4, March was 8, April, again, it was 6. And also, just to let people know that these presentations aren't necessarily meant to provide all the information, but to generate discussion and dialogue. And it was just another way of presenting information to the public, like we did a few years ago. We did Spotlight and Did You Know? So we recognize that people learn in different ways. And so this was one way that we decided we would do it. The next meeting is scheduled for May the 5th at 6:30 p.m. here in Council Chambers. We will be focusing on Ward 3. Alderwoman O'Neill has asked that in June we focus on Ward 2. And July and August, we will be focusing on Wards 7 and 5. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alderman Finlayson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Rules and City Government Committee met on April 4th, and we gave our report at the meeting on April 14th. Our next meeting will be on May 2nd here in Council Chambers at 1 o'clock. All are invited. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is comments by the general public.
Okay, during comments by the general public, you may not speak on the following topics because they will be called out individually. If you're here to speak on the annual budget, appropriation, and property tax levy, please hold up. Art and Public Places Commission update and revision, please hold up. 2025 Transit Development Plan, or the FY 2026 annual fee schedule, or the FY 2026 fines schedule. Please hold up for those, and you will be called later. If you're here to speak on any other subject aside from that, please come forward and say your full name and address. Thank you. All right. I have one person. Good to see you, Effie.
I will use a timer on my watch today to try and be better about that. Thank you. Thank you, William. All right, guys. So today I would like to talk to you.
Just a full name, Effie, and
Thank you.
address. Thank you.
F.A. Brock, 1306 President Street in Eastport. So I'd like to take a moment today, approximately 3 minutes, and talk to you about sign regulations, because I'm really into sign regulations, if you don't know. 217040 of our city code, prohibited signs. Not to sound like an old bell, I'm going to talk about a different part of it today. Part H, snipe signs. Snipe signs, like this stack that I brought in today, which I picked up on my way to City Council today. These are 11 of them. These are snipe signs. They are put in public rights-of-way, like in the median of our roads, or they are attached to our utility infrastructure or our roadway signage infrastructure, such as stop signs, crosswalk signs, children at play signs. They're a bit of a public nuisance. I take down dozens of these a week, or I did until the end of last fall when I said, you know, why am I doing this? Why isn't my city doing this? Isn't there a law against this? These are public signs, or what they're attached to are public signs. You know, they must be distracting drivers. They're an eyesore. They definitely bring down our property values. There's nothing good about these signs. Half of them are scams. So I looked into it, and that's where I started reading about our city's sign law. It led me to discussions with the Department of Planning and Zoning, and I asked, can we enforce the law that we have on the books against snipe signs? How do I do this? Oh, well, you create a case in ANA 311, and we'll go ahead and inspect it, and if need be, we'll go out and cite it. So in January, that's just what I started doing. I started entering cases on ANA 311, Citizen Self-Service, our CSS system, as our Director of Department of Planning and Zoning Enforcement told me to do. A few weeks go by, not really anything happens. So, you know, like anyone who's got nothing better to do, I follow up a few times. Ultimately, I get an enforcement officer to uncancel the canceled inspection for these signs, go out and say, yeah, these are something we can enforce against. I'll issue notices of violation. They have until February 5th to comply. This stack of signs I brought with me are mostly the signs that I reported back in January. February 5th was 82 days ago, but we still had these signs up that I reported. I followed up several times over the last 2 weeks, didn't really get any response. So I thought I'd bring them into you today just to kind of make a point here. I called the Director of Public Works for Worcester County because they initiated a snipe sign removal program last summer. We had a lengthy discussion. He told me that they cite on site and they remove on site. We can issue a $25 fine, and by state law, the advertising business is assumed to have liability. I will finish this up. The issue with things such as the billboard, which I heavily publicized last week and made an extremely detailed case for, the issue is not that we need a new ordinance from our city council to address this billboard. The issue is that we need our city government to enforce the sign laws that we have, to enforce the code and zoning regulations that we have. That is the issue. The issue is that we have laws that are not being enforced. Thank you.
Thank you, Effie. Thank you.
Please take these down.
Anybody else like to come forward and speak on any other subjects? Thank you. I declare the public hearing closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is business and miscellaneous items, beginning with appointment AP 1025, reappointment of Sharon Ellis to the Public Accountability Board. The Police Accountability Board.
Thank you. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
The next item on the agenda is supplemental appropriations, $50,000 and above, beginning with SA 2925, Capital, Department of Public Works, Capital Reserve.
A motion to approve SA 2925.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Alderman Savage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry I'm a little late here with getting my hand up, but on SA 2925, I was just wondering if anybody had information as far as how this proposed work is going to impact the canopy that we added a few years back. I thought we added a canopy over top of the fuel pumps a few years ago.
I'm going to ask the city manager if she has any details on that, but if not, we can definitely find out.
Yeah, I'll have to find out.
Sorry, Alderman Savage, I don't
Okay,
have anyone
thank you.
here to address that, but we will get someone to you.
That's okay. Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is SA 3025, General, Department of Planning and Zoning, reserved for one-time uses.
Could I get a motion to approve SA 30-25?
So moved.
Second.
Make sure I don't miss Alderman Savage. Okay, all those.
Oh, wait, Mr. Mayor, I did have a question on that one too.
Yep.
Could somebody just explain for the record? I'm curious why we're doing it as an SA, because it seems like we're giving them money to just give back to us instead of just, why don't we just waive the fee via resolution?
City
That-
manager.
Yeah, that one I can answer. The purpose of doing it this way is to keep the kind of the accounting line clear of showing the grant amount of, but also showing, instead of simply waiving the fee, acknowledging the value, and then giving the money back through this mechanism. It was specifically requested this way by the Department of Finance to just help keep the clarity around the record keeping. The
Okay.
ultimate effect is exactly the same.
Okay, I'm just saying, because we've done it previously. I know we did it for crab, but we did it via resolution. So it seems like we don't really have a consistent policy as far as how to do this type of thing. I know we've also done it for the school before, and that was via resolution. We've done that a couple times for the school district, I believe. So again, I don't know why we're using a different practice now all of a sudden.
I can certainly clarify if there are some particular guidelines that we should keep in mind to provide some clarity around when do we do one thing versus another.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda. Oh, sorry. Sorry. All those in favor, I apologize. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is SA 3125, General Fund, Federal Emergency Management Agency Grant, City Manager Supplies and other.
Could I get a motion, please?
So
So
move.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
The next item on the agenda is public hearings, beginning with Ordinance O 1025, Annual Budget and Appropriation and Property Tax Levy.
Thank you. So we're opening the public hearing here, and first up is Cindy Demise. Please come forward.
Thank you. My name is Cindy Dalmasy. I live at 144 Spa Drive in Truxton Heights. And I wanted to make some comments this evening about the capital budget with regard to Truxton Park. So when I took a look at what was being proposed, there was kind of the good news and the bad news, and then something that I think is very important that was totally missed. So as far as the good news, I was very happy to see that there's going to be work on the trails and on stabilization of the waterfront in Truxton Park. It's something that I first heard about in January 2023 when I went with some of my neighbors to a meeting with Department of Public Works and some assorted folks from the city government. And in January 2023, we were told that work on those trails was going to be done, that it was being investigated at that time, and was kind of a complex project. So I'm glad that it's still on the books. And what the budget says is that design is anticipated to start in 2026. And boy, it'd be nice to see something happen a little sooner for that, because it's much needed. The trails are very rutted, and the waterfront, there's a huge erosion problem. So my next point was with regard to what was missed, and what was missed was our footbridge that goes from our neighborhood in Truxton Heights to Pump House Road. And there has been damage, from storms to that footbridge, and it's really become a danger. There's a safety issue. It's uneven. And I can very easily see a small child, may fall into the water there. The water level is very low right there, but the mud is very deep. And I can speak from experience that when you get stuck in that mud, it's really hard to get out. And I just am afraid that there's going to be some issues. And I didn't see any mention of that footbridge, although I saw a lot of other projects on the waterfront all around the city. Was very happy to see those, but I'm hoping that the footbridge could be taken care of. And what was the bad news to me was I saw that the city is looking to, they're trying to get approval from the Department of Natural Resources for a floating dock there down by the end of Pump House Road, going into the Spa Creek there at the very headwaters of the creek. And this is something that This is something that our neighborhood, there was a letter that we wrote back in August about this proposal to have a paddle board facility or kayaking facility down there at Pump House Road. And our neighbors, 24 of them, signed a letter to you, Mr. Mayor, in August 2024 to say that we felt that this would not be a good use of the city funds, that the water level there, again, is very, very low. At times of the year, it's a mud flat. It's hard to imagine a floating dock that can actually reach the water during certain periods of time in the year. The water quality is very questionable there, and there has been some testing, and it's shown a very high E. coli coliform bacteria rates. And the last thing is there aren't really any facilities for the public. There's no parking and there's no restrooms. So we would vote against that one, but we're hoping that our footbridge makes the grade. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up is Tom Berger.
Mr. Mayor, good evening, members of the council. My name is Tom Berger. I'm your immediate next door neighbor at 170 Duke. I sent a fairly detailed assessment of thoughts on the mayor's proposed budget. Mr. Huntley had a meeting for us to discuss that, and I'm not going to go through that now. I think it's gotten actually fairly widely circulated by comments I've fed back. As you're coming into this, in my career, amongst other positions, I was an associate CFO in the District of Columbia for the Office of the Chief Financial Officer. And so I bring a little bit of knowledge back to the table. And what I wanted to do tonight is just very briefly remark on some thoughts for you as you come into this negotiation phase and try to reach, as mandated, I assume, a balanced budget for the city for 25-26. It's obviously very difficult now under the uncertain economic conditions, and my crystal ball says that's not going to change in the near term. Budgets are tools. They're not an end into themselves. They should reflect the vision of the people of Annapolis, of the council, of the mayor, okay? And everything that you put into that should reflect that vision, okay? I bring that up because twofold always. We have to balance long-term and short-term. Dollar spent today is not a dollar available in the future. Dollars held for future in reserves or in the university case endowments cannot be utilized today. They should match short-term dollars, short-term need, long-term dollars, long-term need. I saw a commentary, I think, Mr. Huntley, you had in your last note about a proposal of 10% across the board cuts to try to make the balanced budget. The difficulty, in my opinion, with across the board cuts is it assumes that everything we're doing today is we're doing it correctly. It does not step back, take a look at, again, what's the vision for the city of Annapolis? What is the philosophy behind what the council and the mayor are proposing for us in the coming year? So I ask that as you go through that negotiation, think a little bit harder about where the money is currently being spent and should it be being spent there or somewhere else. It is always worthwhile to take a step back on that. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Next up, John Taylor. Effie, sorry, did you want to speak on the budget too? I apologize. Yep. I'll get you after. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Hi, good evening. My name's John Taylor, 144 Spa Drive, Annapolis. Firstly, I'd like to echo the comments of my dear wife. I'd better. I just wanted to make a general point as you're going through budgeting, and that is, as the previous speaker mentioned, there's very uncertain times. And in uncertain times, one of the things to do is do not take on extra people who, if times get bad, really bad, you're stuck with, or they're going to cost you money to ethically dispose of them, right? To lay them off. Better to not fill open positions and not create new positions until times are a lot better. And that's just a general statement. And I'd also just echo what the previous speaker said about budgeting. Budgeting should not be, well, we spent $1 million last year, we should spend $1.1 million this year, which is my experience of city budgeting in the past. And it should be, what are the things we need to do and how much money do we need to spend to do them? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. John, sorry, one of the councillors, Alderman Pindell Charles.
Mr. Taylor, I have one question. And this is just a hypothetical, so don't take it the wrong way. If we needed an extra person in city government to do several things, including what Mr. Brock has indicated, to take a look at this sign removal, is that something you would say no to, or something we could look at and then make a decision on? You can come back to the microphone, sir.
I'd say the very first thing is there no one currently employed in the city who could accomplish that task?
I was saying it was a hypothetical.
Right.
Mhm.
If there's no one, then where does that rank in the priorities? Is that a critical need? And I agree, those signs are an eyesore. Are they the highest priority thing we should be doing? Probably not. And I'm not saying the city should not employ any new people, but I'm saying it should be an extremely urgent matter before the city employs new people. Because it's just creating lack of flexibility down the line if the economy gets much worse.
Thank you, sir.
You? Effie Brock?
Oh, no.
I have a handout for you guys today, if you don't mind
Where's your
distributing
sign?
it. Thank you. That's my copy, and one for whoever. Thank you. I don't think you guys do need to hire any extra people for the signs, by the way, and fine is actually $100 a day, so I brought in 11 signs. If we enforce that and they were delayed in taking them down, that would be $1,100 a day right there in city revenue. And that's just on my right here. So should enforce that law. Be good for us. All right. So I want to talk about one specific part of the capital improvement project budget. And in a way, I want to say thank you, but maybe it's not enough. So excuse me in advance, but thank you. Thank you for including Burnside Park in the plan for the CIP. I do appreciate that. I was, however, a little this is F.A. Brock, 1306 President Street in Eastport. I was very disappointed after about 2 years of lobbying for attention to be devoted to my nearest point of waterfront access to finally get looked at. I think I managed because it's in your capital improvement project, but unfortunately, unless it's a typo, you guys kicked it down the line a year to 2027. I don't see anything allocated for it this year, and so we're going to compare it to a different project I've been tracking in the CIP for a couple years, which is Acton Cove, project 40049. Acton Cove improvements, it originally started as a $100,000 or so look into improving the sidewalk there, but this project has quickly ballooned over the last few years. And last year, I filed a Public Information Act request for the city's DNR, Department of Natural Resources Waterway Improvement Fund grant application for funds for this project at Acton Cove, because I was interested in the finances behind it. And, you know, why are all these parks on the nice side of Spa Creek getting all of our resources and attention? Well, you know, you can walk down to my park, and I did today on my way home, and you know, it's rotted through and it's falling apart. This is a piece of your rotted bulkhead that you tie up to, you know, on Saturdays when you go to the bakery. And here are some rusty nails that I picked just for you guys, like flowers, okay? But we can wait a year maybe. So, Acton Cove started with $100,000. The first year it was introduced in the CIP, you immediately devoted resources towards it. You didn't kick it down the road a year. That was 2024. 100K, 105. 2025, last year, we made a $92,000 allocation in bonds for 25, sorry. And we said that we think this coming year, 2026, this budget we're discussing now, we think that we're going to spend $220,000 raised in bond revenue on this project. Okay, that was June. We passed the budget in June. I looked at the PIA I filed with the DNR, and I got that, and our application was submitted to DNR 3 months later, but instead of requesting instead of saying that we're devoting and expect to $220,000 this year, the application that the city sent to DNR said we're actually going to raise $375,000 in bond revenue in 2026. You have my email chain in front of you with the Department of Finance trying to reconcile these numbers. because $375,000, which is what we said to DNR in the application, to get their help with making this already lovely and usable and not rotting away park better, we said we're going to tell the city we're spending $200,000 on it this year. But 3 months later, we tell DNR we expect to spend $375,000. 70% increase in that estimate. And it only occurred within 3 months between passing our budget and then applying for that grant. And I'll finish with this because this kind of summarizes my concerns here. I expressed them and I said, I want to know why the difference. I never really got an answer, unfortunately, from the Department of Finance, but I wanted to avoid prior judgments. Closing here. It sure seems like the Department of Finance is avoiding providing a reason for the difference in these values, but asking for patience from me for when changes will be made to reflect them. Did the city mislead the public when it passed the CIP with one expectation of expenditures for this park, but then applying for a much higher number for level of assistance from the state? My concern here was this. Why are we doing this for the nicest park in the city, in the most affluent part of town, surrounded by a ton of similar street end parks with very adequate water access and floating docks that I would love, by the way, to have on our side of Spot Creek? Does this mean that the city is going to devote less attention to parks in underserved communities, such as my park? I think I got my answer when I looked at the CIP this year. Thank you, guys. Unless that was a typo. I'd love to see money devoted to that park because Eastport really doesn't have a usable park. A whole side of Spot Creek.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's your budget.
Not anymore.
All right. Anybody else like to come forward and speak on 010-25? Thank you. I declare the public hearing closed on 0-10- Oh, sorry, leaving it open. Clearing it open. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item agenda.
The next item on public hearings is 01125, Arts and Public Places Commission update and revisions.
Okay, great. First sign up to speak is Lynn Farrow. Please come forward, Lynn.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Lynn Farrow. I don't think there's anybody in this room who doesn't know that. And I live at 1901 McGuckian Street in Ward 3. I'm here tonight in support of Ordinance 1125. The Commission recently met with the Director of Planning and Zoning, and as Chair, I'm excited about the move to and the oversight of the Art and Public Places Commission from the Department of Planning and Zoning. I think the move will provide the increased level of staff support that the Commission needs, particularly in light of the increased funds authorized by the state legislature. This is a welcome increase. It also tremendously increased the work level of the Commission, thus making this work labor intensive for a small group of volunteers. I do have a few recommendations for amendments to the bill. They're basically cosmetic, just to clean up the legislation, clean up and clarify parts of the legislation. On page 3, under at line 18, under section 2.4.710, item number C, item number. I'm sorry, it's actually on page 4. On page 4, section 2.48.720, B, under B, the composition, and then under B number 2, filling vacant positions. The text there in A refers to what happens if a position remains vacant for more than 3 months. And then all of the items under that all relate to A. So if you could move those over so that it's obvious that they're related to if a position remains vacant for 3 months. And then also it'd be great if you added language, if you could get some added language on filling vacancies other than those that are vacant for more than 3 months. And then finally, there's a section in here where you talk about the acceptance of funds, so the acceptance of cash by the commission, and it says that it would be handled by the director. But I wondered if that's the director of finance, or just to look at it to see if that means the director of finance or the director of planning and zoning. If it means the director of finance, obviously in the definitions, the director is the director defined as the director of planning and zoning. But if we need it to be the director of finance, that would be great. That's it. I am happy to answer any questions anyone may have. Any of you may have.
Thank you. Alderman Finlayson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a question, but could you send us those proposed amendments in writing, please?
I can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank you.
Thanks for.
Have a nice
do.
day.
Anyone else like to come forward and speak on O11-25? Please come forward. Yeah. Thanks, Peter.
Hello, everybody. My name is Peter Nesbitt. I'm the director of the Elizabeth Meyer Mitchell Art Museum, St. John's College. We are the only nationally accredited art museum in Anne Arundel County and one of only 5 in the state.
Thanks, Peter. Just your home address again. Thank you.
My home address is just around the corner here, 152 Conduit.
Thank you
Street.
so much.
I just want to I'll keep this very brief, but I just wanted to write that I'm in support of the legislation, the AIPPC legislation, to shift it from Parks and Rec or Rec and Parks over to planning. But I want to say that I see it as a very, very small step into what I see as a huge issue. I want to encourage all of you not to think of this as a solution or the solution. I want you to think of a long-term partnership with planning and zoning around the total reorganization and reconsideration of the AIPPC. In the 3 years that I've been here, I have found the AIPPC to be a total embarrassment. And many of you know, my wife was very briefly on the AIPPC. She was brought on by you with great enthusiasm to try to work on the Westgate Circle, bring her great expertise in the arts to the Westgate Circle project. She left only 8 or 9 months later and completely discouraged by her entire experience with the commission. I see the commission as lacking leadership, vision, responsible management, a strong sense of its own finances, and much, much more. And I watch the meetings every month, and it is a pain for me to watch it. We're a capital city. We deserve so much more. For the city, the size of our city, we have, as you all know, we have an incredible number of great arts organizations. We could be so much more with the proper vision in place. I also believe that where this needs to start, and maybe this is for planning and zoning, maybe it's for you. I don't really know how this sort of thing works, but I really do believe it needs to start at the top. My greatest recommendation would be replacing the chair with somebody with arts expertise. This current chair has no arts expertise. With somebody who can actually raise money. This current chair has been unable to raise a single dime for the Westgate Circle project. She has repeatedly said she's going to get money from the state. She's repeatedly said she's going to get money from the Maryland State Arts Commission. And every single time there's a reason for having missed a deadline, et cetera, et cetera. Every time I see a meeting, I just cringe. I feel like we have a tremendous city with tremendous opportunity. This really needs to be done right. And I just really encourage you all to stay on top of it. It's very important for myself and for all of my colleagues that work in this sector. We need the type of leadership that you all display here in this room for the arts. Thank you very much.
Anybody else like to come forward? Okay, I declare the public hearing on 011-25 closed. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is resolutions for public hearing. R 1725, 2025 Transit Development Plan for the City of Annapolis.
Hearing.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nobody signed up to speak for the Transit Development Plan for City of Annapolis. Anybody like to come forward and speak about this? Hi. Oh, all right. Hello.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Krista Wallach. I live at 820 Janice Drive. I have been a dedicated, almost everyday user of Annapolis Transit. I choose not to have a car. I love Annapolis Transit for the most part. I have been working with Kwaku and the team down at ADOT at their what they're trying to do with their new system. I highly recommend that they follow what they're putting in. And yes, it is 125 pages. I have read 125 pages with beautiful maps. But what the big part of it is the introducing changes that are desperately needed. For me personally, it would be the one route, which is the Brown route, to cut it down, the travel time, not to go into the Robinwood, Newtown, and Bywaters communities, because when I ride it in the morning, if you're lucky, you have one person get on at any of those neighborhoods, and in the evening, the same thing, people getting off. Maybe you'll have them coming off, but it's on most of the routes. By the time you go down the route, back out of the neighborhood, just a half a mile each way on some of these things, round trip. It takes a lot of time, and this would shave off a good 15 to 20 minutes travel time. For people trying to get to work in the morning, it's a big asset. Also, with some of the way the drivers drive, they're speeding down, especially in Robinwood, is the biggest concern for me. They speed down the things. They don't drive carefully. They're driving around the roundabouts really fast and everything. And for the amount of people that drive that bus, the transit has put in a request for the new go time, which needs to be worked on too, but to have people walk up to Forest Drive to catch the bus, or use the go time to get to another location and stuff. When I totally support the new go time. Does need improvement, but my big thing is to make the system more efficient. And one of the things we also talked about, and I would love to see work, because when you want to get to work and people are trying to put in folded dollars and everything else, of working up with the system where they either get a monthly pass and that they can refill it online, or doing something, because right now the only place to get one is going to 308 Chinkapin. During working hours, if you're working, you can't get there. It used to have a place down here and sit downstairs in the office where you can do it. Having one place is very restricted, so I would like to see somehow get in the information, people to get different ways to purchase, so you're not waiting for putting in $4 worth of pennies, dimes, nickels, dollars, folded up dollars, and everything else. Again, I support the project that they want to put forward. The e-buses are interesting. The electric buses, not the favorite. And unfortunately, a lot of the drivers have also said the same thing. It is not an operational bus. They don't run full systems. You can't make it through the whole day. They're lucky if they get through one shift. So if you are going to be purchasing more e-buses, to please find something that is easy to get onto. People can get on with walkers. We have some people who have to hold up walkers to get in because it's a very narrow thing. And these buses have seats that, if you have ridden any of Annapolis Transit buses, a few years ago they had these buses that had wooden seats, and when you went down, and the way some of these drivers drive, you slid off the seats. Well, you're having this the other day. I had to help a lady who was holding her infant in her arm as the bus driver's going through one of the neighborhoods, like I'm saying, speeding around the thing. She didn't know to hold on to her baby or hold on to the seat. Luckily, I was sitting next to her. I kind of held on to the kid. So, it's just look for better, not because it was a great deal. What I'm hearing was a great deal to get these buses, but something that's feasible for everybody to use. So thank you for your time. Any questions or comments? Right?
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much for that input. Thank you for using public transport. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward and speak on R1725? Okay, I declare the public hearing closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item of the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda for public hearing is R 2025 FY 2026 annual fees schedule.
All right, it's the Effie show. One person signed up to speak. Effie, please come forward. Yeah, why don't you speak in both of them? Yeah. Well, unless you need, we'll give you extra time. No.
I won't need extra time, but I do have one of each. All right. I have another prop. I'm like Carrot Top, but more annoying for you guys, I'm sure. All right. Fees and fines. I'm going to focus on one fine and one fee. The fine, 12.24.130. After about 7 or 8 months of trying, today I finally found out that is the citation behind the $50 tickets that everyone at Hillman seems to get in the mail a bunch of days later. I've been asking for a very long time trying to get a definitive answer from the city government. What is the exact citation being charged here that everyone seems to be getting a ticket for? I follow this topic very closely. I have a lot of issues with premium that I'm probably going to flag for you guys and make your lives pretty difficult in the next few weeks, to be honest. But let's focus on this one. So 12.24.130. It's a $50 fine that gets issued for parking at an expired meter. If you park at the Hillman parking garage, I'm looking at you, people listening, and you do not pay within the first 15 minutes of entering that garage, despite not being a registered user of their app, their cameras will catch your license plate and issue you a citation in the mail. You may not get it 2 days later. You may get it 15 days later, as my neighbor did, on the day that the fine automatically increases. So this ticket, it's very weird. You get it kind of right away when you enter, or you get it unknowingly on your way out if you happen to underguesstimate the pay that you need to pay at Hillman. Because unlike our other city garages, this is pay as you enter, not pay as you leave. A lot of human room for error right there. So, parking at an expired meter. Okay, it's not a meter, it's a garage, but let's just put that to the side. The tickets that these people in the mail get, if you've gotten one, you know, the offense says no permit. It doesn't say 12.24.130 parking at expired meter. It says no permit. Doesn't make any sense. What is cited, in fact, the only part of city code cited on these mailed summonses, which is all you get, is city code 12.20.240. Failure to pay fines. That's my prop here for you guys. Failure to pay fines, the city code. In all cases of parking violations, I'm summarizing here for the sake of time, parking enforcement officer or authorized agent who discovers a vehicle illegally parked in the absence of the operator shall is a legal word. It means a lot of things. It means shall attach a summons to the vehicle in a conspicuous place. If you've parked at Hillman and you've gotten a $50 ticket, chances are close to 100% you didn't get a shall attached ticket on your vehicle. You got one delivered to you in the mail. So, part B, if you desire a hearing, the person shall provide an authorized agent written notice of the desire for a hearing at least 5 days to the date of a hearing set in the summons. It's a bit hard to do if you get the mail 15 days later on the day it automatically increases. No summons shall be issued setting a trial date less than 15 days from the date of the offense. I think you guys have a problem here with this. I think it's going to be difficult for you to address. And the reason I think it's going to be difficult for you to address is because the city seems to be relying increasingly and projected to over the next few years on interfund transfers from the parking fund to supplement the cost of providing other city services. This is a big issue we're going to have to face. I'm very much just at the beginning of looking into it with someone who's much smarter than I am. More responsible ways to raise city revenue. I'm going to suggest one, and here's the fees. Residents pay pay a tiered fee system for water usage. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. If you use very little water, you pay a smaller rate. If you use a medium amount of water, you pay a medium rate. If you use a high amount of water as a resident, you pay a high rate. Commercial users of our city's water system pay a same flat rate. I don't understand why, but maybe that would be worth looking into, because I think the way you guys have it set, most residents are possibly, don't quote me on this, paying more for their water than some businesses. And I think that the way this is structured, smaller businesses are probably subsidizing the cost of water usage at larger commercial businesses downtown. Something to explore. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Effie. Anyone else like to come forward and speak? Okay, I declare the public hearing on FR 2125 closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is legislative actions, beginning with the first readers. Resolution R 2525.
Did we close both those, please?
Yes. It's temporary waiving specific citations for waterfront activities in R4 districts. It was added. No.
Can I get a motion to adopt that R 2525, please?
So, second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to suspend the rules, given the timeliness of the season.
So move. I'll second.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 100%. Can I get a motion on second reader?
So move.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir, Mayor Buckley.
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles.
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Aye.
Alderman Shannon
Aye.
Alderman Savage.
Aye.
Alderman Arnett.
Aye.
And Hunt.
Aye.
Yep, Mr. City Attorney, please present the. We voted. Yep. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, the next item on the agenda is legislative actions, beginning with second readers. Beginning with our resolution R 225, demonstration. Oh, we took that one off. Sorry. Beginning with R 1525, Friendship City relationship with Frankston, Australia.
Is there a motion to adopt R 15-25?
So move.
Second.
Mayor from Frankston, thank you all. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir, Mayor Buckley.
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles.
Aye. And you can add me as a co-sponsor, please.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Alderman Savage.
Aye.
Alderman Arnett.
Aye.
Alderman.
Aye.
You. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda for second readers is resolution R 1925, memorial honoring the life and legacy of the late U.S. Representative Perrin J. Mitchell.
Is there a motion to adopt R-19-25 on second reader?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Alderman Savage has an amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the Savage Amendment 1.
Second.
Thank you.
Can I just give a brief description?
Please. Thank you.
Yeah, so this just provides, I worked with the Caucus of African American Leaders, and this is just a summary of, it clarifies some of the late Representative Mitchell's connections to Annapolis.
Thank you. Alderman Shannelmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alderman Savage, this is an absolutely wonderful amendment, and I appreciate the work and history that you did for this with the connection of Congressman Mitchell into our community. So thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Okay, all those, Alderman Pendle Charles.
Ditto what Alderman Shandemeyer just said. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call.
Yeah, it's just for the
Oh,
amendment.
the amendment. Okay. All right. Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt this as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir, Mayor Buckley,
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Aye.
Alderman Pendle Charles,
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson,
Aye.
Alderman Stoudemire,
Aye.
Alderman Savage,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
The agenda is complete, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Is there anything else for good order from Portland, Alderman Savage?
It's all good. Very
Looks
easy to
like-
get around.
Bike riding's good and the trams are good, right?
Are the trolleys running?
Yes.
Anything else for good order? Alderman O'Neill, you always have something?
Sure, I'll say this. Last Saturday was Greenscape throughout the city. I know that in Ward 2, there were at least 12 projects going on. And beautification of the city was amazing. I know that there was projects going on, I'm pretty sure, in every ward. I spoke with somebody who helped with the Greenscape project in Robinwood, and they said that it was an amazing transformation. He said he actually felt like he was back in Boy Scouts because they were cleaning out trails and making some of the greenery areas more beautiful. So thank you all for everybody who participated. It was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, we all want to thank our Greenscape volunteers. Thank you so much for caring about your city and coming out on that day. Beautiful day out there. Lots of stuff going on. We appreciate you all. Thank you. Anything else for good order? Okay, could I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, meeting adjourned.